Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Trina and welcome to the fourth reading vlog of the month of May 2025. This is the last video of my May Roll for Reads series, I guess at this point. This is the fourth video and the finale. I'm just pretty much still excited to read. However, the TBR is not looking too hot, as you can see here. The ones that you see here that has check marks on the side are those that I rolled from previous videos. And then the ones that have been highlighted are the ones that I have already started in the previous videos. So we have two books that I've already started, Notes on an Execution, as well as Bone Orchard. So side note, I'm still thinking about it, but I really think that I am going to soft DNF Notes on an Execution. Soft DNF, I will be like putting it back to my TBR, sliding a bookmark onto whatever page that I have stopped on, and I'm just going to leave it for now, because if I push through reading that knowing that I'm not in the mood for it, I might get into a reading slump, and I don't want to do that since this is like the last week of the month that we are reading, as well as me trying to gear myself up to next week's or next month's TBR, which is technically next week. So I'm quite excited for this video. I don't know if it's as eventful this week as it was last week, because I did go out a lot last week. This week, we're lying low, we're getting cozy, it's raining, it's starting, like the rainy season, I guess, is happening. There is like a storm happening here. And yeah, I have a lot of stuff planned for next week. A lot of gardening also is going to happen next week, because my pots as well as my new seeds are coming up on the mail. So I guess it's kind of eventful, but in a very cozy, very homey way. So I'm hoping to relay that vibe here in the vlog for this week, and I'm going to take you on that journey. However, we have to deal with this TBR because it's getting chaotic. I am going to be honest with myself. For this last one, let's make it like a reflective vlog, start of the vlog, TBR picking. I am going to soft DNF Notes on an Execution, so I'm going to X that off. I'm also not going to start with Crime and Punishment. I'm not going to deal with that, because I already started this book. I am like 100 pages, I guess, into this very thick classic. However, I am just not in the mood, and I'm very much afraid to have a reading slump. So I guess I am not going to deal with that. And then I may or may not read Bat Eater for now, because after I was reading like last week, I read a horror. This is a horror. This is a dark horror as well. And then this is like murder mystery. And then I'm jumping into a fantasy with the Bone Orchard, because I know that I will be continuing with this one. However, it's kind of a bit of a longer book. So without Notes on Execution here, I still need to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. I need to read 5 more books if ever I want to get to that goal of 15 books read for this month. And I don't know if I'm able to read 5 books in 7 days, or less than 7 days actually, because Sunday next week is already June 1st. I might end this on June 1st actually, but who knows. So in the previous, I do have quite a long book here. City of Last Chances is a long fantasy, a start to a fantasy. And also The Paleontologist is kind of like a murder mystery. Atalanta is Greek mythology. And of course, Bat Eater is like contemporary fiction, literary fiction. And then Bone Orchard is fantasy. So I might roll, but since I only have Bone Orchard and I would like to read either Paleontologist or Atalanta, so we have 2 or 3 options here. So I think I'm just going to roll for 3 more books, just in case, basically. So I'm just going to roll for 3 books this week to see if I have a different option. But if I'm being honest, I would like that I would just pick, but it defeats the purpose of like calling this whole vlog Roll for Reads, right? So my wish, my whole wish, is to get number 10, Bridge of Souls. It is the 3rd book in the Cassidy Blake series by V.E. Schwab that puts me, it's like middle grade or YA, I forgot. I think it's middle grade, and it also finishes a series for me. So that would be like the ideal one. The Push is also kind of short. It is literary fiction, which ties into most of what I've already read for this month. And also, the Eyes Are the Best Part is like a horror fiction as well. So, hoping 10, 14, 20. I'm going to roll for 3. If it ends up being Gideon and Nine or Well of Ascension, I'm just going to go with it. I have an audiobook of Well of Ascension. It might take me 2 days to finish it if I listen to it straight through, I guess. So we're just going to roll. Forget it. We're just going to roll. I'm rambling and like stalling at this point. So our first roll for this week's TBR is a 2. Gideon the Ninth. Good news is I have found an audiobook for Gideon the Ninth, so we're going to roll with it. All I know about this, it is a long fantasy book, first book in, what is the author's name again? Oh dear. Tamsin Moyer, and sci-fi, gothic horror, fantasy. And a lot of people love this book. I actually was very tempted to buy the whole series of this book. But it's like, is it 4 series? 4 books in a series, but it's only until the 3rd book. The 4th book has not come out yet? Question mark? I'm not sure. But let's just see first if I like Gideon the Ninth or not. I know that a lot of people love this book, so I'm hoping I will love it. And if I love it that much, I will continue and maybe purchase the whole series. I'm excited though. This is one of those books in my 25 books in 2025 list. So we're also trying to hit goals here. So the second roll, we're just going to get right into it. We have a 20. Eyes Are the Best Part. Maybe because the storm is like brewing outside, I am having the hardest time generating these like synopsis for this book. So it is another horror fiction. The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. I'm actually kind of scared that this might be like a cannibalism sort of book. Here we are. This is Ji-won's life tumbles into disarray in the wake of her appa's extramarital affair and subsequent departure. Her mother distraught, her younger sister hurt and confused, her college freshman grades failing, her dreams horrifying yet enticing. In them, Ji-won's walks through bloody rooms full of eyes, succulent blue eyes, salivating blue eyes. Eyes the same shape and shade as George's, who is Uma's obnoxious new boyfriend. George has already overstayed his welcome in her family's claustrophobic apartment. He brags about his puff-up consulting job, ogles Asian waitresses while dining out, and acts condescending towards Ji-won and her sister as if he deserves all of Uma's fawning adoration. No, George doesn't deserve anything from her family. Ji-won will make sure of that. For no matter how many victims accumulate around her campus or how many people she must deceive and manipulate, Ji-won's hunger and her rage deserve to be sated. A brilliantly inventive, subversive novel about a young woman unraveling. Monica Kim's Eyes Are Best Part is a story of a family falling apart and trying to find their way back to each other, making a bold new voice in horror that will leave readers mesmerized and craving more. So I would like to assume that the new boyfriend is not Asian? Question mark? Because of the blue eyes thing. So in a way, female rage, which we like here in this channel. I really enjoy those. Last week, I have finished Eat the Ones You Love as well as Boy Parts. I guess Eat the Ones You Love is more of like keeping secrets, but Boy Parts is more female rage. I did like read a couple of wacky books already from past videos when I started YouTube. Bunny, Monowad, Mayfly by CJ Lead, and a lot of other videos are like, and a lot of other books that are like crazy like that. So I also found an audiobook for The Eyes Are the Best Part. So this might be a very audiobook heavy week just because we could finish some of my chores while finishing books as well. So that's good. That's pretty good. So we are going to roll for the last book here. That's 2 again. Really wants me to read Gideon Knight. We have a 6, and 6 is already off the board. 14, so we have The Push. I know for a fact that The Push is something of like motherhood or like pregnancy, and also it is a literary fiction. So the women in this family were different. Blythe Connor doesn't want history to repeat itself. Violet is her first child, and she will give her daughter all the love she deserves, all the love that her own mother withheld. But firstborns are never easy, and Violet is demanding and fretful. She never smiles. she never smiles. Soon, Blythe believes she can do no right, that something's very wrong, either with her daughter or herself. Her husband Fox says she's imagining it, but Violet's different with him, and he can't understand what Blythe suffered as a child. No one can. Blythe wants to be a good mother, but what if that's not enough for Violet or her marriage? Or what if she can't see the darkness coming? Mother and daughter, angel or monster. We don't get to choose our inheritance or who we are. The push is an addictive, gripping, and compulsive read that asks what happens when women are not believed, and what if motherhood isn't everything you hoped for, but everything you always feared. So I recall that there's something like a postnatal, what do you call that again? Something like postnatal depression. I'm not a parent, so I don't know that much, but I don't know. I'm very much interested in that. A lot of YouTubers or booktubers that I've watched enjoys this book, so I'm hoping that I will enjoy it as well and be immersed in it. So those are the three books that we have added, and if I'm being honest, these three might be the ones that I finish before even The Bone Orchard. But we'll see. I'm still interested. I am hoping to knock out the easy ones first. If I'm being honest, that's always my case. I have always been the type of person who wants to knock out the easy ones first before getting into like the harder, tougher, thicker books. So anyway, I will update once I have anything to update, and we'll see how this week goes. Good morning. I am here today for an update. Today is, I believe, Thursday, the 29th of May, and I haven't updated anything yet. And that is because, as you can see here in front of you, my planner has become a little bit quite chaotic with the stuff that needs to happen this week. So, a lot of opportunities to read in like waiting rooms and such. However, it just so happens that not a lot of time to film. So I do have here to the side for Wednesday that I listed down since I had an open space for all of the videos that I needed to film right here. And I'm actually standing up. I did not grab a chair when I turned on the camera. But anyways, for this week's vlog, I did manage to finish one book for now. I did finish The Eyes Are the Best Part, and sadly, I did not really enjoy it. As of the moment, I think I need to like cleanse myself from domestic thriller horror sort of books for now, at least. I do enjoy them. It just so happens that reading them like back to back, like contemporary fiction horror or like horror that is not fantasy, can be quite like it starts to diminish my enjoyment, if you could say. Like after reading like Eat the Ones You Love, and then that book is already like it's good, but it's already like not that wow. Eat the Ones You Love is not really that enjoyable for me, especially since it's a lot of like um sexual harassment as well as like mental health issues. It's kind of heavy. I gave it a 2 stars. One, because I don't really like the main character, even though I know that she was struggling. I didn't really enjoy like the progression of her rage. In a way, it's also like some sort of like female rage as well, and also her mistrust in um like men in general. I guess like she came from a broken family wherein one day the dad just left with another woman, and the mother did not really recover from that 100%. She and her younger sister had to cope with that, I guess, still hoping that one day the father will just come right back into the door and their lives will be normal again. However, as the days progress, that doesn't happen anymore until such time their mom found a new boyfriend, and they are Korean and the boyfriend is, I guess, American. And in a way, he is already like very much a red flag. Um, the mother was like super proud of telling her daughters that this guy is like uh, used to be in Korea, like in the war, and then he speaks fluent Korean, understands their culture, and then when the guy met the two daughters, he is not who he seems. He doesn't do what the mother is like proud of him for. He doesn't really speak fluent, and he doesn't understand that much. He tries his best, yes, but somehow the main character, the older sister, is like sussing him out because not only he looks at her weirdly, he like fetishizes like Asian women in particular. So that already is like triggering for me. So like I don't really enjoy that sort of flow, that theme. And also the main character herself has an admirer who is also American, I guess. And he also like does his best to woo her in a way that is almost insulting, I guess. Trying to like I don't like that when other cultures like try to know your culture more than you and like makes you think that they know more than you in a way. You get that? Like I can't explain or like I don't know what the term for that is, but like um they try to move a certain way that I guess it's patronizing. I don't know if that's the term for it, but still it's kind of gross. But the ending of it was okay for me in a dark horror sense. Like she was able to do that. That's amazing. But still, I did not enjoy like most of the book. I listened to this on audiobook and I just like felt like my brain just skimmed through the whole book. Now, the current book that I am listening on audio as well as reading, I started with The Push after this. At first, I did not really enjoy it. Like the first 20 chapters was like, I don't understand because, of course, I do not have children and my brain went to like, I guess if I had children, the impact of this book is a lot more different. However, when I started around the 30th chapter yesterday, while I was in the waiting room of one of the clinics with my aunt, um, I started to understand it more. I started to feel the trauma of what the mother was feeling, the main character of the book. So basically, it's like generational trauma, wherein from the grandmother, I believe. They always have been like their girls has always been abandoned by their mothers or like they were not taken care of, were not provided like the love that they so deserve. And it goes to show that some women shouldn't be moms, I guess. And I think they were like they gave birth out of necessity or they gave birth because of trauma and such, and that's just tragic. And it just so happens that the main character's grandmother and mother somehow passed on that trauma to her, that when she had her own daughter, she does not know how to feel. She does not know how to love her. And somehow the daughter also responded in a way wherein she feels like she isn't loved by her mother. And that sort of relationship. However, when the second baby came, I guess this is also like the same case for like older sisters or older siblings rather to their younger siblings. Like they feel like their younger siblings are being cared for more than them. In some cases, it's because babies demand more attention compared to like once children are more grown up, and like parents are trained like respect to the parents that are trained day and night to take care of an infant who just came out into this world. However, being a child, an older sibling doesn't necessarily like they do not necessarily understand that right off the bat. That why is their mother giving more attention to someone who just arrived rather than them who came first, basically. So it's that dynamic. It's that trauma, I guess, and the narrator is almost like unreliable as well. So even though I thought of DNFing it at first, I am starting to enjoy it. So that's the first one that I've been juggling. The second one is Gideon the Ninth, and I also am listening to that on audiobook, and I actually am enjoying Gideon the Ninth pretty well. Maybe it is the audiobook narrator that I'm enjoying very much, but I really enjoy the tone of Gideon the Ninth. It's kind of like sarcastic in a way, but also I also like Harrow as a character, and I'm just in the first 3 or 4 chapters, I guess, of the book. So I do not understand yet what is going on. Especially, I did not listen or like read the synopsis of Gideon the Ninth. I just know that they are like necromancers, assassins, I guess they are like a faction because they are like 9 factions. So um, the main character is part of the ninth, and yeah, I really am enjoying it so far. So those are the 2 books that I'm juggling, hoping to finish for this week. I did mention like in the previous vlog, or maybe in the previous clip even, that I wanted to finish 15 books this month. However, I think I'm able to just finish 12 or 13 books, and I'm just going to be fine with that. Like, it has been a very busy month near the end of the month, so I need to like be gentler with myself, I guess. 13 is already a lot. So I'm going to come back once I have anything to update, or if I finish any of the books, and yeah, I will see you then. Good morning. So here we are with final update of this vlog. Yesterday evening, I finally finished both The Push as well as Gideon Ninth, and I wasn't really updating that much because I went out with my friends. We went to 2 cafes yesterday, and happy June. It is June 1st now as I'm filming this, and I'm just very happy that I was able to finish the 2 books that I set out to finish for the end of this vlog. Sadly, I was not able to finish with The Bone Orchard, but that's fine. I'm going to carry on with this because it really has an interesting premise that I really would like to read what happens next, basically with the choosing of the next king, and it's just a strange way to like ask your mistress about to do for you, but the king is powerful, I guess. So this is also the last vlog for May Roll for Read since it's already June, and I am happy to say that even though I guess I did not complete 15 books this month because of how busy and how um, in the middle of it I also felt a little bit slumpy because of my migraine. However, 13 books is fine. We'll just have to accept it that it's not ending in a 0 or a 5 for my book blanket. I haven't even updated my book blanket at all, other than after walking practice. So anyway, my reviews for The Push, I gave it a 3.5 stars. I did not really enjoy it at first. I I don't know. There's always that case. I mean, in real life, wherein by instinct, I guess, a parent could not feel comfortable with their own child. I'm not a parent myself, so I have not experienced this, but I think there really is a case for that in real life. However, it's just that this was like a chaotic way to um, respond to that point, and it's very traumatic. It's pretty much like um, I don't know if it's like the parent of would be serial killer or something like that. But I did not enjoy it at first. The middle was very traumatic and very sad. Near the end was like chaotic, and the ending was like, okay, I think this is the part like near the end until the very last chapter was like the part wherein I got invested in it because it's no longer just a what do you call this, a spiral. It's no longer the mom feeling that she's insane. Basically, there is really something wrong with the people around her, and it's not her that's the problem, maybe. But still, it's like generational trauma, as well as it follows like the great grandmother, no, not the great grandmother, like the grandmother of the main character, her own mother, herself, and her daughter. So it's 4 generation of women in this family who are, I guess, having mental illness, basically. And so, yeah, 3.5 stars because I did not really enjoy the first part, and it gradually, what do you call this? It gradually got better, and you literally have to push through with this book. And yeah, I think people would enjoy it. Some other people who enjoy literary fiction and also like mystery would love this book. And then the other one, Gideon the Ninth, sci-fi, fantasy, necromancy, that is also like sapphic. And at first, when I was listening to the audiobook, I really loved the voice of the narrator who narrated Harrow Hark. And in turn, I also enjoyed Harrow as a character. Gideon is pretty much entertaining, like her own comic relief sort of vibe. It gave me the vibe as well of like Red Rising, I guess, with going to a different planet for these trials. I did not understand the story at first because I did not read the synopsis for this book, but um, what I can gather from it is that all of the heirs of this empire was sent to, like all the nine factions, I guess, of this empire were sent to this planet for an ancient trial, wherein if they could pass this trial, they could become a lector. And our main character, Gideon, is the cavalier for the reverend daughter, Harrowhark. And Harrowhark is the necromancer. And all necromancers should have their cavalier with them because they could not pass the trial by themselves. And the trial involves like a bunch of challenges wherein at the end they receive a key to unlock knowledge, I guess, for their necromancy or a piece of history that they could learn for themselves so that they could improve on their necromancy and their powers. And their cavaliers are somewhat their knight, their sword, and I believe some of them are like born from their necromancy as well. However, Harrow's cavalier was not able to join her, so that she chose Gideon as the what do you call this, a substitute for her cavalier. And in a way, throughout the story, we now learn about the other nine factions, the other eight factions, I guess, the truth of Harrow, how she got her power, and who Gideon is to Harrow, and it's very much interesting. I could not get it out of my head that this almost feels like if you watch the anime RE0, what is the continuation of that long title? Back to square one, something like that, back to the starting point. I don't know, but it's like a very long title. It's an isekai anime of this guy got isekai to this fantasy world that is very political, and every time he passes away, he has a save point of some sort, and he could redo that certain chunk of his life. And if he tells anyone about how he is able to do that, he immediately passes away, something like that. So there is that part wherein all of the would-be king, the heirs, I guess, and their servant or knight, I guess, attending to them during the trials, and this almost reminds me of that. But still, I really am enjoying the Locked series, and I am going to continue with Harrow the Ninth, maybe next month, or this month rather, because it's already June. So a recap of this week's readings. The Eyes Are the Best Part, 2 stars. The Push, I gave 3.5 stars, and Gideon the Ninth, I gave 5 stars. And a little recap as well of like a little flip through of what we have covered through the whole month of May. I'm going to have a more detailed book review of each of the book in my wrap up, but a little sneak peek flip through of all of the pages that I made for the month of May. I love this one, even though I did not love the book, but I love the way I decorated the book. And also this one. I'm going to leave this blank, and I'm going to return to the Bone Orchard one of these days in June. And then I'm just going to finish this first before I'm going to film my wrap up for the month of both April and May, because I haven't filmed my April wrap up yet. So yeah, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this video this week. And I hope you look forward to my wrap up and future videos. I really enjoyed doing Roll for Reads, and this series is going to continue one of these months if I'm going to choose a month wherein it's not that chaotic to continue Roll for Reads. And yeah, thank you so much again, and I will see you in the next video. So until then, guys, take care and bye.